All right, guys, took a little break, but we're going to take a look this time. Let me go ahead and share the screen for you. We're going to take a look at three areas that were honestly pretty mystifying for me for a long time. And I'm going to move my little self out of the way, but I'm hoping I am not alone. These are some areas that you guys can definitely help me with if anybody has previous experience on these as well. I would love to hear from you in the comments so we can kind of see where we agree and where we do not, because I'll be honest with you, I am itching for this little market here at the bottom, level 18, so go ahead and unlock for us. So three areas in this video that we're going to look at: the Great Hall, the Tavern, and the Guardian Ring. And I'm going to come to the Guardian Ring last because the Guardian Ring is tied directly to our gems. I know. We've talked about this one. So let's start with the Great Hall. Both the Great Hall and the Tavern will open at level 6, and you're going to reach level 6 pretty quickly. What I did not realize is we're coming into the Great Hall. You're going to have different areas that are focused and broken up between the 4 affinities of each champion within the game. As we go through arena, you're going to earn both bronze, silver, and gold medals. And they also show you the arena tokens that you currently have available. We're down to just recouping just that one that we did not use earlier. Now, the current tier that we're in for arena points, we have about 1,044 on this account that we just started. We are in tier 2. So we're looking at some of the bonuses as far as HP, attack, and defense. What this does is each area that we improve will impact the entire team. And I've heard about this a few different ways. So I want us to be careful as we start to build. And I would love for you guys to share what your build is looking like as well. So feel free to share, because I want to grow and definitely get better on my personal account and this account as well, and kind of see where we go from. So you have areas for HP, attack, defense, critical damage, resist, and accuracy. These are the same areas that you will see when you're looking at each of your champions. But note two things: where there is the letter I, there is information for us to figure out. So let's click and kind of follow the guide. The Great Hall is going to, of course, unlock at the basic level 6. And what you're looking at is how to build the affinities of your different champions. As we're going through and we're using the medals that we earn in the arena, we want to focus in certain areas. Most champions will tell you that critical damage and accuracy are huge. I heard several videos on YouTube that warned against going down HP and just maxing it out to the very end. And I'll be honest, it was one of my first thoughts. So as a beginner, we often think that having more HP, more points, more health is going to help us along the way. But I also got a chance to listen to a podcast that involved a couple of the top 10, 15 players in the world. And one of the areas that they focused on, especially my top 10, had to deal with defense. I never, ever thought about it that way. It was like, okay, so all these games, of course, are some that allow you to get into farming. It's strategy based. It's very tailored to how you feel and what you're thinking. And if you notice on the side screen, there are up to 10 levels where you are acquiring 1,000 medals just to make an increase. But guys, the increases you make are across the board. So every champion you have that falls into this affinity will be impacted. That is huge. So since we have our leading champion, and I know that she falls here, and War Priest is going to fall with the Spirit. These two top areas are where I'm going to go first. And I'm going to actually really concentrate myself in the area of defense. But I'm going to only upgrade those areas where I currently have a champion that I know I can at least go mid-game with. Keep in mind, since this is my second account, I'm trying to focus on areas that I have not touched with my first account. So the trial and error is huge in this particular area. They'll go down and talk about the bonuses, from the 2 to 20% increase that you can definitely receive as you go down the list. I have level 1 in my original account. I actually did level 1 for the whole page. So I just want to cross the board. I want to level up everything. Going back in hindsight, we're not going to do that for the second account because I want to see the difference. Medals are also something else. You have bronze, silver, and gold and platinum arena medals. Those are going to be bunched in together. They go from level 1 through level 10 as far as upgrades that are available as well. And how you earn those medals is also described in this FAQ. So paying attention to what's been earned and how these different medals can be combined to equal up to one another is a big part as well. So you can read that entire guide that was here. You can come over here as far as where you are tier wise. So you guys know we are, what, 3 videos in at this point. We've already made to tier 2 as far as arena is concerned. We definitely want to earn our chest and move up to this 1100 mark. From the bronze levels, you'll notice that you're only moving up 100 points each time. And then it starts to spread itself out after the 1400 mark, goes to 200. As you make it to your goal, we go to 300. And then guys, I have heard that platinum is absolutely brutal, but hopefully we will get there free to play and kind of see how we do. Now, when I go into click, let's say I feel like I'm ready to upgrade, it's going to give me a screen and take a look at how many medals we actually need. So you're going to use 50 medals to move from level 0 to level 1, and that's going to be for a 2% increase with all champions that fall under that particular affinity. And I'm going to let you know now, we're going to go and tackle these first 3 up top. But of course, if you look here, we have some more areas of the arena that we definitely need to get into. So every time you're logging in, I want you to make sure you're taking a look at how many arena tokens you have available and you are utilizing and maxing those out every single time. This is for magic, of course. I'm going to get these affinities correct as we go. Spirit, we have force, because I always say death. It is force. And then, of course, void. Remember that void has a certain advantage over all 3. And these are also the affinities that you will see in the very triangular area in the middle of your screen at the top when you're going into campaign especially. So we're going to be working through Great Hall. I think for me, I'm going to work through defense first and then accuracy based on which champions we go through and choose to keep or to get rid of. So that's going to be our Great Hall. The Tavern is next. The Tavern is where you're going to spend a lot of your time as well as a lot of your money. So here we go. And when I say money, I mean silver, free to play, guys, free to play. Money in the sense that it's going to speed up what you're doing is very true, but you want to play carefully, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Here, you're allowed to select a champion. In the Tavern, you can level up your champion. If you, for example, are willing to sacrifice a 1-star champion, it's going to give you about 1,600 points. 2 stars, about 3,250. 3-star goes up from there. So every champion you're willing to sacrifice will provide whatever champion you're applying it to a different level of XP. And what your goal is in all of this is to go through and upgrade your champion as quickly as possible. They have a section in here where they're actually going through and looking at the different magic potions. Pay attention to the affinity. I'm going to tell you honestly from the door. Here's what I did, and I've never seen this in one, so that's interesting. I made the mistake, and I needed to upgrade a champion, and I just used all of them across the board. And this happens. You can actually see the difference in the amount of XP that can be gained. So if I'm using, I know, for example, Elhain is magic. She will receive more energy if I use a magic brew. But if I choose, for example, to use void, to use spirit, to use force, she will receive that boost, but it's going to be a difference of 6,000 XP per magic brew. So we're losing 30 to, plus thousand XP just by using a brew that doesn't match our champion. So you want to be extremely mindful of that when you're going in to level up. And you're noticing that you're going from a level 3, for example, you have to get that champion maxed out. So if there are 3 stars, they need a 30 at this point in order to level up. If there are 2 stars, they need 20. Need to be level 20 in order to max up as well. XP barrels. I haven't had the opportunity to see an XP barrel, but oh my, it will fill up your XP altogether. And I don't know about you, but if I had 49 of these, my account would definitely look a lot different. So XP barrels, let's look at this one. Instantly increase the champion's level to the highest possible level for their rank. So if they're rank 3, level 1 El Hain and XP Barrel, she will instantly jump to rank 3, level 30. That is amazing. But also pay attention to how much silver is required for this upgrade. It is not cheap. Got to be careful, guys. You got to keep it in mind. Each champion rank has a maximum level cap. We just went through this: 1 star, 10, 2 stars, all the way to 6 stars. If you are anywhere above a 3-star rank, you will notice definitely how long it takes you to get your champion to that max level before you're able to upgrade them. You can use chickens. I've only had a couple of times and a few packages that have allowed me to actually receive chickens. I know there are some areas in the game where you can actually farm food, which is usually tied to a dungeon as you get deeper into dungeons. With my level 41 account, I've managed to make it to, on most of my dungeons, around level 12, 11, 12. So I'm just now getting to the point where I'm reaching those levels where I can farm food and really go through and just do a full farming team. It takes a lot. I have on my personal account probably about 9 champions, 8 or 9. They're at level 50 and almost fully ascended. And it takes a lot of energy. As you go through an upgrade, you're going to notice they will go from level 30 and drop back to that, or accelerate themselves up or ascend up to that next level for 4 stars. So you start all the way back at 1, and now you need to bring the champion back up as well. Upgrading a champion to rank 4 also unlocks their first accessory slots. This is where you can add in rings that you have been accumulating. It's easy not to click a button because it hasn't highlighted itself. Once you get that first highlight, be especially careful. When I finally got to the point where I could add rings to my champions, I probably had already acquired maybe 5 or 10 rings. So I really wanted to be careful with that. They also included a hint. You can get chickens from the shop or by completing in-game challenges and activities. We're not going to the shop unless it's free. I have not received a free chicken anywhere else. So in-game challenges and activities will be the way to go. If chickens aren't giving you the growth you need, try a feast. Feast instantly take your chosen champion to rank 6. Man, when you see this little ham, we are in the game. You can only give feast to champions who are at the highest possible level for their current rank, but feast will take them to rank 6 for any other rank. So you can start out rank 3, El Hain at level 30. It's going to jump her all the way to rank 6, level 1. So wherever you can get a ham from, I am all about it. These are available from tournaments and from events. Guys, when an event pops up, it's really, really easy in this game to spread yourself too thin. It's probably the number one concern that a lot of champions will tell beginners to be aware of. And I can definitely see that one as a young beginner. There's a lot going on. I think I spent the first week, I had never heard of Raid Shadow Legends, just kind of clicking every button and kind of looking. And since then, it's really fun to go back and play a second account because I'm able to kind of fix some of those mistakes, but make more, and you guys can help me along the way. Though these are an amazing thing, this feast is really tempting. Look here. Do not lose yourself in the small details. So saving up that silver, you have the opportunity, but you don't have the means, is a big one. And guess what? As soon as you click out of Tavern, I can tell you now, all my people who are free to play, there's going to be a pop-up that's going to offer you 2 million silver for $19.99 or $9.99. So be careful, because it can be really, really tempting to go in and click that button. Upgrading skills. Oh, how I have learned. How I have learned. Number one rule with tombs. Make sure when you are booking a champion, you will hear people say they're going to book their champion all the time. These are amazing when you can go in and you're going to use these to upgrade skills. Most skills can be upgraded through several levels, each adding improvements or even bonuses to the skill. This deals with buffs, debuffs, a little bit of everything, using skill tombs of a suitable rarity. So you have rare, epic, and legendary. And it's really tempting sometimes to use a legendary tomb on a rare, because you have a bunch of rare, no legendaries, and you luck up and get 3 legendary tombs in a row. Don't do it. These books can be really hard to come by. And honestly, I have never acquired this many to fill all of these in at one time. This is definitely like, you're amazing, pay to play kind of setup. So especially with a level 1, y'all already know, we've already shown that one. But keep in mind, each tomb also has a price. So 30,000 silver is what you're giving up in order to increase those skills. And that will take these from levels 1, 2, or 3, depending on how many you are dropping in. If you receive a duplicate, it does the same as a tomb, so you can upgrade your skills that way, but this doesn't happen very often, especially with my higher legends. Now, with my lower ones, it does. And what I do want to figure out is when I sacrifice them, if I've already used a double, if it will actually increase the amount that's given to the champion for which they're being sacrificed. I haven't figured that out. Ascending champions is always a big one. It's the main reason why we will visit this portion of the dungeon over and over again. These 4 are going to rotate. They are not open all the time. I will tell you now, when Spirit Keep opens, I think in a day or 2, Spirit Keep is going to open. I will be all about her because I have several champions on my personal account that they need that green potion all day long. So potions are the fastest way to get what you need and to ascend and to move those champions. So you definitely want to do that. A lot of people talked about getting to level 5 and level 6, unlocking the necklaces as well as the banners. I am still working on this particular area, but for this account, we're still up here in our top 6, and we're trying to definitely move down to ascending our first champion and being able to use all those sections. So that'll give us the help from the little icon that we needed as well. Now here, if I select a champion, for example, I can upgrade their level by adding any of my 1, 2, or lower stars. Ooh, excuse me. We have extremely dry weather going on. You can upgrade their rank if you have enough champions to sacrifice. This is where keeping champions, running champions through a particular skill set becomes really important. This is also why you definitely want to link your accounts. A lot of people will run those multi-battles via phone. It just makes it a little easier for you. Upgrading skills is another one. This is where you can either use your duplicates or tombs that we just talked about when you are booking up your champion. And then, of course, ascending. We have Arbiter, who's going to come back. She's going to give you a little breakdown on Ascension where you are actually adding auras or skills. And almost every single champion you're going to deal with has a particular need. So we know that when my little blue dungeon opens, I need to be all about it with her. All right. So looking here, we can see that we're missing something. Now here's a button I did not push for a very long time, and that's the potion mixer. I had no idea that the screen even existed. And by the time I figured it out, guys, I had filled up quite a few of these. But pay attention. In order to, you're going to have a couple of champions. Deliana is one who's going to require this greater force potion in order to ascend. I have to have 10 of these to make one of these. 10 of these to make one of these. So that 10-to-1 ratio makes a huge difference. And I think Deliana actually needs 3 of these in order to ascend. So I need 30 of these just to make 3 of these, which is still not enough to ascend here. So as you can see, you're going to need a ton of potions, which is why you will notice we're going to be spending quite a bit of time as far as dungeons will go. I'm only going to focus on Elhain, War Priest, and Sniper when it comes to ascending and taking care of everything else. Be careful who you ascend. I have ascended champions and then turned right around after building them out completely and absolutely took them apart and sacrificed them. It was a waste of silver number 1, which I'm below my 300,000 threshold, but it's a lot of resources that you will end up losing, and that becomes pretty difficult to deal with as well. So we've done Great Hall. We've also looked at the Tavern. Let's go to Guardian Ring. Now, I'm going to tell you guys now, a lot of people do not use the Guardian Ring right away. I personally did not use Guardian Ring for quite some time. This is where I can place champions and they will gain XP passively. It's just from them being in the sparring pit. On my personal account, I've actually unlocked my first 3 slot areas. There are additional slots where you can go in and do some other things as well. But I have 3, and I usually reserve it for those champions that are not actively in my team setup to go through a campaign, but I'm going to use them later, for example, for food. So all of my level 1s, if I have 3 that I know I'm going to upgrade, I will dump them in first. It doesn't take them very long to get to level 10, and then I can take them out as I need. Now we've had some red dots here. So token trader is one area. I have not yet acquired blue tokens from my other accounts. So I'm still kind of working on where tokens kind of fall in. But the one thing I can say is their guides are pretty awesome. What do we do here in the Guardian Ring? You're going to level up your champions. Keyword is passively. You don't have to do anything but drop them in and you are good to go. If you have duplicates, you can definitely empower your champion, which is something else I'm going to pay attention to, is using my duplicates to empower champions as I go. You can assign faction guardians to give each faction a global stats boost, which is another one. And then I can unbind duplicates as well. For the sparring pit, we're looking that you've gained enough XP and you're ready to level up simply by pressing that button. When it maxes out, it will let you know. And then you can swap out that particular champion for another one. And you'll see that one quite often. There are 5 slots in the sparring pit. The first is unlocked by default, while the rest can be unlocked using gems. Each slot can also be upgraded to increase the rate at which champions in those slots will gain XP. And this is kind of what I'm working on. It's hard to let go of gems, but sometimes I think working or being able to work passively can definitely help. If I have, for example, I have a couple of champions that are level 50 that I definitely want to upgrade, but I want a little help even when I'm not playing, that's working with them, upgrading. Some of these champions will take hours to upgrade. So you're going to need that time, and why not? Otherwise, they're just sitting. You have faction guardians. This is another area that we'll take a look at as we go in and start acquiring different champions. But I promise you, we need to definitely make sure that we are dealing with our first champion first. Champions can only become faction guardians when you have duplicates of them. To fill each chamber, you'll need 2 of the same champion. For example, you need 2 Raglins to fill a legendary banner Lord Guardian chamber. However, unlike the sparring pit, you can still use any champion that are assigned as faction guardians. So this requires duplicates, which honestly I don't have a lot of, and it also boosts the stats of those champions that fall into that area. We'll go back into banners, banner setup. Guardian rings is another area for empowerment and a few other things. But when I tell you guys, this is easily mid-game. I'm less than a month in, and I'm not even close to any of these. Definitely not close to 4,000 tokens. So it's an area that we appreciate having access to, but we'll look at unbinding champions, empowering champions, and faction guardians as we move up and start doing a little bit better. So gave you Great Hall, Tavern, and the good old Guardian Ring. We're going to check our index because I see we have a nice little red dot that has appeared. Anything after rare, guys, we're just assuming is showing up. It's Death Hound. It's giving us a little love. This one, and some people may make him a farmer. I'm not a fan. Even at 6 stars, it's only giving 10,000 HP. Defense is 573. And guys, I mean, his speed is 94, which isn't bad, but the amount of damage he's dealing, I can do better farmers as well. So he is preemptively going to be food. And notice that we got these commons all within our first couple of pools. We are going to go around and take a look over. We have a progression reward. Woo, 3 of these. So reach level 5. We got an XP boost for 1 day. Probably should have waited on that one. We have a rare skill tomb. I'm pretty sure you guys know where that one's going to go. And then we're going to claim our 10 gems as well. We don't necessarily have a need. So let's go back to our champion. I'm going to go to this good old tavern. Upgrade skills. Since she is a rare, we're going to upgrade her. Any upgrades we can get right now are going to go directly to Elhain, just to kind of get her where we know we want her to be. She's at 27. We're going to go ahead. I know we want to stick to our silver amount, but we're going to push it until we get Elhain into a comfortable states. I would love to max her out. And I know that's going to take quite a bit on our part. And the other thing I would like to do before we end this video is see if we are able to beat our last level where we got stuck. And if we can get that done, we will be in a great place. So, all right, level 8 on everything over this way, level 8 on all of her. We are still vying for this gauntlet and shoes. It's not in an offensive set because that's not going to do us any good. We don't have anything on Crusader. I'm tempted. Let's see. He's only got 2 skills, y'all. Deep cut and catch is another one. Like we have these 2 champions, for example, and I can kind of show you guys if we went to Tavern. If I selected him, I can upgrade his skills just by moving over his, sacrificing his duplicate. And if you look here with 3,000 silver, you'll notice that his deep cut goes to a level 2. Now, what we're going to figure out is when we sacrifice him, if that makes a difference as well. Because it should, I hope, but it actually may not. So let's see, go through those things. We're going to go back into this battle really quickly. And next video, we'll probably dive into, we'll run a campaign and then do dungeons, see how we do, of course. And if we aren't successful dungeon-wise, we can always go back and kind of hit where we've left stars available. We were in Felwyn's Gate. Stage 2 is where we've been getting stuck. So let's see if my team is ready to do just a little bit better. We haven't really upgraded anyone else but Elhain, but I'm hoping maybe it's going to make a little bit of difference for her. We're starting to handle this first group a lot better. I think the first time we ran, I think everyone had to do at least 3 turns to deal with that group. It is round 2 on this one that has really gotten us. Dealing with my level 10 champions, which shouldn't be an issue, has definitely come up. I'm not shocked that Crusader is going to go out, but I've been hoping Sniper can make it, and she is still going down. So we've got to do some things for my girl on this next run. Let's see. I would love to get both of them to level 30 as quickly as possible. So I'm hoping we're going to have a little luck on our next log in as we're ready to come in and do an update. This will be a good area before she dies for them to actually go in. Oh, we're going to make it. Yes. All right. So that's a barely moment. Like we are barely skirting through, but guys, look at this experience. So you're going in with 2,000 of each, and I can probably upgrade these two, which is really what I'm tempted to do. That'll get us to stage 3. They're going to get a little bit stronger in these next 2 stages, especially here. So I know for me, that's going to be a good area for me to pull out toward. Now, what I will do as I go back and take a look at my champions, I'm going to actually go over to the tavern and see what I can do. Because, man, I don't want to sacrifice her. I want to upgrade her because my sniper is having a really hard time. So if we take a look, I want to see if I can move her a little bit closer to leveling up, because right now that is going to be the name of the game. I've got to be able to get through the levels that I've been keeping my eye on. So we're going to max her out. And then we're going to come in and sacrifice these 2 to get her to go to a level 3. Like we really have to buck her up. We've really got to do some things there, because once she starts surviving, we're going to do a lot better. So guys, that's going to be it for this particular video, keeping it nice and simple. As you're working through, I know you guys are going to hit a lot of milestones, but great haul. We're going to keep tagging through. We'll go ahead and let our arena tokens rebuild themselves. So that'll be one of the areas we'll start in next time. And then hopefully in the next video, we'll get closer to using this tavern to upgrade War Priest and El Hain. I will talk to you guys soon. Have a good one.